My name is Szymon, I'm from Poland. Yeah, there was lots of considerations that convinced me to take the vaccination. One thing was ability to visiting my family. My parents are not getting any younger, and I wanted to be able to see them. And because of the pandemic, I wasn't able to do it, and they were quite scared of the virus. They have undergoing health conditions, so it was important for me to be able to visit them and not stress them that I can bring the virus home. And then also in my work, I'm delivering workshops for people, so I work with people face to face, so not to put them at risk, and to be able to create like a COVID risk assessment, I needed to be vaccinated. So there was several different reasons for me to get vaccinated.
My name's Laura. I'm from Liverpool and I'm fully vaccinated. I actually didn't have any side effects from the vaccines at all. I was absolutely fine. And then I actually did catch COVID in December, but because I'd had the vaccines, it was really mild. I had next to no symptoms really, just a sort of mild cold. And I was 30 weeks pregnant at that point, so that was something that getting towards the end of your pregnancy, you already feel anxious and nervous and you're feeling big, and you've already got symptoms of other things, so it's just something that you don't also then need to have the feeling that you've got COVID as well and then be worried about that. So yeah, it was definitely the right decision for me to have had the vaccines.
My name is Lewis Elliott. I've had 2 doses of vaccination from the Wirral, but currently live in Liverpool city centre. I just felt with being quite a young, healthy adult that the chances of me getting COVID and becoming sort of quite ill with it were quite slim compared to others who might have underlying health conditions. So I just kind of had a little wait round to see what was happening in regards to the vaccine. And then obviously I chose to get my doses. Mainly in consideration for family members and that sort of thing, because some of them are in that vulnerable age group and some of them have underlying health conditions. So that, along with the fact of travelling, and it looked as if you couldn't do anything without getting the vaccine. You couldn't go to different bars or into restaurants. All that, just as a combination, I felt like it was the right time to get it, to allow me to do them sorts of things and to protect sort of family members at home.
So I'm Ellie, I'm from Liverpool, just over the road, and I'm fully vaccinated, so I've had 3. I had the 3rd vaccine, the booster, while I was pregnant, and I do remember it was a difficult decision. I was obviously quite sort of worried about any harm to the baby, and I had had a few miscarriages in the past, so I think that was really sort of playing on my mind. But then also I was very aware that if I didn't get vaccinated, then there might be a risk to the baby and to me, especially if I got it sort of later on. For me, as soon as I sort of fell pregnant, I felt like a mum, so I felt like that decision had to be like thinking about both me and baby. It wasn't just about me anymore.
I'm Ethan, I'm from Liverpool and I'm double vaccinated. I've had COVID twice, one with when I was vaccinated and one when I wasn't vaccinated. The first time I got COVID, when I wasn't vaccinated, I was okay for the first 2 days, and then I started getting symptoms, and then I was bedbound, couldn't move. Then I lost my taste and smell, whilst once I was vaccinated and I got it, I had symptoms, but nothing too bad. I didn't lose my taste or smell, and I wasn't bedbound, so I was able to still go on a daily run on that. It's like a little barrier, isn't it? It's like safety, so I'd probably recommend getting it.
My name is Fatma Idarus. I'm original from Yemen. I'm living in UK now. I'm full vaccinated. So I suffering from a blood condition called alpha thalassemia, so my immune system is really low. When I had my first vaccine, I felt ill. I felt like I had the COVID. But after that, after my second one, I caught COVID. But I was fine. I didn't have any symptom except I get some headache. And that's it really. That's where I noticed that, yeah, it's working. If it's work with me, with my low immune system, I think it will work with everyone.
My name's Felix, I'm from Liverpool and I've got 3 vaccinations. Well, at the time when COVID was first about and the vaccine was being released, I was in like the college environments and stuff like that, so I was young, like 18 years old, and all the kids around me in the colleges and the streets and stuff like that were saying conspiracy theories like maybe being tracked by the government or putting stuff in it and stuff like that. For me, it was something that I had to get. My mum was pushing me a lot to get the vaccination, especially for our family. I've got a sister who's asthmatic, so she's got asthma, and if she did get COVID from maybe myself or something like that, she may feel the effects more than I would, so it was something important to me and the family.
So my name's Alice and I've lived in Liverpool for about 17 years, originally from Chester. My first vaccination I had in January 2021 when I went back to work after having my first son Bernie, and I was breastfeeding him at the time of being vaccinated, and then I had the second one in April, which was just before I fell pregnant with my second Selena, and then I had my booster while I was about 6 months pregnant with her. There's lots of evidence that people have had this vaccination whilst pregnant and whilst breastfeeding and have had completely normal pregnancies and healthy children, and actually it's really important to think about how having the vaccine will protect both you and your baby.
Okay, so my name is Benjamin Munns. I'm from West Derby in Liverpool, and I am fully vaccinated. It's been a 50-50 mix between me and my friends. Mainly, say like 95% of my male friends have been saying, you know, reiterating stories off social media, like, you know, it's some sort of part of the new world order, that, you know, and that it's not safe, it's not been tested, have they managed to get it out quick enough, all this sort of thing. But with me, I quite like reading science anyway, so I read about it and understood why they could. And then I thought, from the side effects that have been listed, it's far much less than having COVID itself, and the sooner that people got vaccinated, the better.
My name's Laura Stirrat. I'm a GP. I work in North Liverpool. I work in Vauxhall Health Centre. So although we're getting on with our lives in quite a normal way, there is still a high risk of catching COVID. It can still cause lots of long-term conditions, long COVID, risks of miscarriage if you're pregnant, blood clots. The risk of catching COVID infection, natural COVID infection, is still much higher than any of the tiny risks of getting a vaccine, which is really safe. So I'd really encourage people to get vaccinated.
My name is Bartek. I'm from Liverpool, but originally from Poland, and I've been living here for 16 years. So I've been vaccinated 2 times plus booster. I will definitely recommend, make your own research, but don't listen to people who have absolutely no idea what the medicine is. Just read and ask people who have experience and know what it is. Maybe ask your friends, and then see the figures, how many people actually died because of the COVID and how many people actually been safe because of the vaccination, and how easily everything was open purely because of the vaccination.
Okay, so my name is Louise Chadwick, and I've had all 3 vaccines. So I had the first, the second, and I've had the booster as well. So I'd had the first vaccine before I was pregnant. Then when I had the second one, it was very early days of pregnancy. It was before I'd even taken a pregnancy test, so I'd gone along to the centre to have the vaccine. Found out afterwards that I was pregnant, and you know, I'd had the vaccine, so I was protected from anything that I might come across. Because I was going through fertility treatment at the Hewitt Centre, there was a lot of talk about whether it would affect fertility, and actually it didn't affect my fertility, because actually I'd gone through IVF, hadn't been successful with IVF, and then got pregnant naturally, so the COVID vaccine didn't affect my fertility in any way.
Hello, my name's Sam. I'm from the Wirral, currently living in city centre Liverpool. I've had 3 doses of the Oxford AstraZeneca vaccine. Yeah, I feel like my mum, who was a high risk, I felt like going home, and after moving back from university, being around them constantly, I felt like I needed to keep them safe as well as myself. But I think it's just a short process. It's a pop to the doctors, you get the injection, then it's pretty much done in my case. So that's how I see it, really.
My name's Hamda Ismail. I'm Somali. I live in Liverpool. I've been vaccinated twice, and I've had the booster as well. I would recommend people to get vaccinated still for 3 purposes mainly. Number 1, for themselves, so they can feel safe and okay. The second being is so they can travel and they can see the world. Number 3 is so they can work. Because even though most of the jobs they've not made it mandatory, they still ask you if you're vaccinated or not.
So my name's Ollie, I'm from Hertfordshire and I'm fully vaccinated. I wanted to protect myself against what is potentially a life-threatening disease. A friend of mine became quite unwell, ended up on intensive care, who thankfully is fine well, but he caught COVID and became quite sick with it, so that really brought it home that this is something that's potentially very serious. Also, I work in healthcare, and getting vaccinated is just the best way to protect patients, and we knew just how contagious the virus was, so it meant that I was able to be confident that I wasn't infecting any patients.
I'm Brenna O'Shaughnessy. I'm from Liverpool and I've had all 3 doses of the vaccine. This one was a bit of a surprise, so I didn't expect to take pregnancy into consideration. But again, when I found out I was pregnant, I still would rather have had the vaccine than chance carrying a baby with COVID. It's completely normal to be nervous, ask all the questions, but ask the right people, ask the doctors, the midwives, the people with qualifications, not Facebook, not social media. And I had no side effects. I've had a lot of friends and family have the vaccine whilst pregnant, no side effects. It's better to be covered than to take the chance of what might happen without it.
I'm Matt, I'm from the Wirral and I'm double jabbed. So the first time I got COVID, I was unvaccinated because it was before the vaccination came out, and I was really ill for about 2 weeks. And when I got it again, COVID, in December last year, I was vaccinated and it was just like a cold, so it wasn't as bad. Well, if you're similar to me and you've got vulnerable family members, I'd definitely recommend getting it.
Hello, my name is Alexandra. I come from Romania and also I am a Roma minority group. I am fully vaccinated. When I do the vaccine, I was thinking that I will not catch the COVID, but unfortunately I catch it, but I don't have any symptoms. And when I see that I don't have any symptoms, I understand that was the best decision that I make to make this vaccine, because I don't have a long COVID or issues because I have the virus, and the vaccine protects me against of this.
My name is Jakub, I'm 23, I'm from Poland, and I've been fully vaccinated with a booster as well. Especially in minority groups, they're less likely to seek accurate information, they just spread information mouth to mouth. So it's hard for them to get accurate information about vaccinations. So definitely a few of my foreign friends were hesitant at the beginning, but after some time, they did come around to give the vaccinations in the end. Yeah, I would say feel free to give the vaccinations. You're not only protecting yourself, but also other people around you, especially people who are vulnerable and the older populations.
My name is Lillian, from Liverpool. I live in Broad Green, and I am vaccinated. I got AstraZeneca, 2 doses. I'm just currently waiting to get my 3rd dose done. From my personal experience, getting the vaccines hasn't really affected my pregnancy. Everything that I've gone through pregnancy-wise has been just to do with your body changing, hormonal changes. So for anyone that's really worried about getting the vaccines, if they don't already have them, I would say if you are planning to conceive or you have conceived, now would be the time to kind of get it, not only to protect yourself but to protect the baby as well. Because, you know, once you're pregnant, your immune system, if you get sick, the baby gets sick, and the last thing you want to do is to be catching any one of the strains of COVID and passing it on to your unborn baby.
My name is Massimo Frigo, I'm 31 years old and I'm from Italy. I had the 2 vaccination and the booster in Liverpool. Because I'm from Italy, Italy is being hit really bad with the first wave of COVID. I was really scared for myself and my friends, and of course we didn't have COVID vaccine in the beginning. But first, when it started finally, the first vaccination, the Pfizer kicking and all the other industry making the new COVID vaccine, I was super happy to do it, because like this, I finally been able to meet my family again and all my friends, and I will be able to travel safely and responsibly to my home.
So my name's Siobhan Vick. I'm living in Liverpool now. I'm originally from Shrewsbury. So I think my first jab was in the second trimester, and the second jab was just into the third trimester. I was really pleased to get it at that point. I was very aware that the biggest risk to your baby was towards the end of your pregnancy. It was nerve-wracking having my first baby during the COVID pandemic, but I'm so grateful that the vaccines were able to be produced so quickly, and that I was lucky enough to have the vaccines in pregnancy, and I was safe and my baby was safe.